Alright, today I'm going to look at the Vcando Scart to HDMI adapter. This is a budget alternative basically to the OSSC or the FrameMeister for playing your retro games on a HD TV and possibly the best picture quality you can get. This thing does have some faults. Let's open it up and take a look at it real quick and talk about the different features this thing has. When you open the box, the first thing you see is the actual adapter. It is in a steel case. Comes in a little bag. Yeah, it's fairly sturdy. It's a steel case. On this side, as you can see, you have your SCART adapter. This is your input. You also have an HDMI input as well for pass-through. You have your DC plug right here. I believe it's a 5-volt DC plug. On the back of the device, you got your LED power light, your HDMI out. Let's see if I can get a little closer. You also have a audio pass-through right here. I think this is really a line in. I say a line in, a line out if you want to convert your audio to, headphone jack or speakers or something like that. You'll need an adapter, of course, for that. Then you have these three buttons right here. The first one is the SCART HDMI button. So if you want to, input SCART, or if you're passing through HDMI, you're going to use this button. Then you have the resolution button. We have two options. We have 720p and 1080p. Using this, there's actually a couple more options, but they're resolutions that we normally don't use on our HD TVs. And the last is a PAL or NTSC option. I'm in the US, so I'll be using the NTSC option for our test. Yeah, it feels pretty good in your hand. It's a small little box, maybe 4x4. Let's see what else is in here. We probably have the adapter. Yep, there's an adapter. A little pamphlet with some basic information, just telling you a couple different things. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, and we're going to take a look at some of the things. One thing that I did notice about this when I first used it is the fact that it does not have a switch for 4x3 or 6x9. So if you were using an older console that has RGBs or RGB modded, like my TurboGrafx that have the RGB mod on it, you're going to have to use your monitor or your TV to change to 4x3 mode, so you're not stretching out the picture. With my capture card, there's not really a way to do that, so you're going to be seeing a lot of stretched images here, but keep in mind that on your TV or your monitor, you should have an option to switch to 4x3 mode. That's the aspect ratio you'll need to play retro games. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Alright, here we go. I've opened up the 240p test suite on my TurboGrafx 16 so I could show you the manual lag tests. We could figure out how much lag this little box has. Basically, the test suite has a bunch of different things in it to help you figure out, lag and audio and video of your SCART systems. RGB. Just click here. All right. It takes into account your personal lag versus the lag that you're actually getting on screen to give you a total number of lag that you're getting from the controller to the HD screen. 16 milliseconds per lag. Let's see how that in turn affects the games. We'll go ahead and reset and pull up a game here in a second. And I'm going to pull up one of my favorite games in the system, shoot 'em up called Magic Chase. If you were to actually go out and buy this game, you're going to be spending thousands of bucks. But that's what the EverDrive is for. Let's see how it performs with this little device. Set at a medium difficulty, and we're going to go in and see if I can feel any of the lag. It's actually pretty responsive so far. Let's just try shooting some things. Yeah, I can't really feel a lot of lag here, if any. Yeah, colors look good. It actually looks pretty good. You know, the only issue I could see here is, you know, my capture card is only capturing at 16 by 9. You know, so it looks stretched out, which, you know, heaven forbid, you know, a 4x3 game being displayed in 16 by 9. TurboGrafx has a ton of shoot 'em up games. This is definitely one of my favorite. I'll go ahead and put on another one of my favorite here in a minute. Blazing Lasers. It's a great vertical shoot 'em up game. Let's see. All right. Again, looks good. Let's test out the lag in this game. No slowdown, everything looks great. Very responsive, actually. No problems. Looks great on the monitor. Looks even better on a HD TV. I mean, obviously it isn't as great as the higher quality devices like the FrameMeister or the OSSC. Preferably the OSSC, in my opinion, is the best device in the market for playing your retro games on the HD TV. But I mean, for a little budget device, you know, just to get your games on there, you know, it's not too bad. I mean, you're obviously going to need some cables as well besides the converter. I get my RGB Scart cables off of Retro Access. This actual cable I'm using right here is just a crappy cable I bought off of Amazon a while back. I'm actually waiting on my shielded cables to come in. That'll get rid of you know, any of the artifacts that we see on the screen. You know, there's not going to be any noise anymore, and you know, help get rid of the buzzing sound. But I mean, for having the crappy Scart RGB cable hooked up, it still looks really good. Plays really well. I definitely recommend it if you're not willing to go out get a CRT TV to play your games on, and you're not willing to go and spend, you know, $200 plus on some kind of converter or adapter, then, you know, this paired with a really good Scart RGB cable that's fully shielded should be fairly good for you, unless you're very hypersensitive to lag. You know, if you are, then I would not recommend this. But like I said, I don't really notice any. I'm gonna get in a fighting game now. I'm gonna turn on Street Fighter 2. This is probably my least favorite version of Street Fighter 2. My favorite being Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the Sega Genesis. I love that game. But you know, this isn't a horrible version. Okay, let's see. Yeah, punching. It's pretty accurate. I'm not a fighting expert. I don't really love fighting games myself, but you know, it looks good, plays good. You know, stretched out, but you know that could be fixed. You know, with your TV or monitor if you can do, you know, 4x3. If you can't do 4x3, I would not even buy this device, because then you'll be stuck in 16:9, and it's not worth it to me. But you know, most of my TVs in my house and my monitor have that feature. It's just the capture card you can't really change the aspect ratio of. Oh, I got beat right there. In the end, like I said, I recommend this device to anybody on a budget. It can be had, you know, under $30 with a good shielded RGB cable for your system. You're looking at about $50-$60 total. Now, if you don't have mods on your system, there's a couple systems out there that already have built-in RGB, like the SNES, not the SNES Mini, but the SNES has RGB. Sega Genesis models 1 and 2, Sega CDs, all that have it. And PlayStation, Sega Saturn. Those are about it that you get RGB out of. But if you're willing to do some modding, then you know you could do that as well. And honestly, if you're gonna mod your systems, you're gonna be spending a lot of money anyway. I'd probably go higher and get the OSSC, because that's definitely my #1 recommended device. But like I said, if you're just using your SNES or your Sega Genesis, you can get away with $50 bucks. I'd say $60 at the max to get what you need to get started playing your games on your HD TV. It's definitely worth it. Finish this up here, get my butt whipped again, and that's it.